Hello everyone, my name is Rafal and I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. I know I was absent for quite some time. I was focusing more on interviews and I will be continuing doing them because I think sharing all those experiences with different photographers is not only extremely inspiring, but also we can learn a lot. So I'm gonna stick with that. But I also decided to do a little bit more of those videos where I'm gonna be sharing some of the knowledge I've gained over the last year. And everyone who is following me, you probably know I'm extremely inspired and dedicated to this new AI technology and what we can do with it when it comes to our headshots. And I'm gonna share some of the stuff with you guys. I know there's so much out there and I'm personally learning every single day, but for the last year I was quite involved in creating those digital backdrops, and I would like to dedicate it the next few videos and talk about it. I'm not gonna show you how I create them. You can definitely jump on one of those seminars I'm organizing where you can literally learn entire process step by step. But today I want to talk a little bit about what I've learned over the last year when I was making them and what to look for. I know there's a lot of photographers out there who are already creating them and using generative fill to create some of those interesting backdrops for their headshots. And I think this is the future of headshot photography. I know there's still a long way to go, but so far the technology we have and abilities which allows us to create something very interesting is already here, and we can utilize this, we can implement it in our work and just take those headshots to the next level. So today I would like to talk a little bit about 5 elements which I would like to go through to showcase you what to look for when you implementing those digital backdrops into your images. And this is something what I've learned over the last several months. I was getting a lot of feedback from you guys about how they look like, how you feel about them, and I was just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And because this is new technology and the sky is the limit, we can create endless amount of backdrops. I've learned that there's a lot of garbage which is created by AI, but also good stuff. But how to see what is good, what is bad? And let me tell you, at the beginning I was definitely lost because whatever AI was producing, I was inspired because it was new, was different. But sometimes things work, sometimes they don't work, and we have to somehow figure out which direction we should push this to make those backgrounds look visually appealing. So I want to talk about some of those things which I've learned, and I'm going to show you what I mean by showing you actual examples, what works, what doesn't work. So the first thing what I've learned, and this is one of the most common feedback I was getting, was the fact that those backgrounds are extremely distracted. So what we have to look for is the brightness of those backgrounds, because the way human eye works, we always look for the brightest element on the image. So usually what happens when we look at the headshots, especially, the goal is to make the viewer look at the subject eyes. And if we have any elements of these digital backdrops which are brighter than the human face or human eyes, usually your eyes just traveling all over the image and we literally lost. And that's why so many people out there who was looking at those backgrounds, whenever there is a lot of those areas or spots like a bokeh which was brighter than the face, your eyes just literally traveling all over, and that's why the image doesn't have a flow. And also what happens is those backgrounds look and feel extremely distractive. So what I've learned is that now I'm trying to make those backgrounds more faded. I don't have those backgrounds with some extreme highlights in those areas which are brighter than the face, because I know I'm gonna get the feedback right away that those backgrounds are extremely distractive. So this is one of the things which we have to remember. If you're gonna create them, make sure that the background is fairly faded, a little bit darker. And we can also use some Photoshop tools like some vignette, so the focal point becoming the face, not the background. So that's the first thing. The next thing what I look for is tonality and colors. And you can definitely bring some interesting flavor to your images. So you can prompt it specifically for specific color when it comes to creating those digital backgrounds, but the color also brings some interesting feel to the image. And as I said, you can play with different colors, see what works, what doesn't work. Also, the one thing what I've learned that AI sometimes is picking up the colors of the wardrobe of the subject and try to implement that into the background. So we have to also be extremely careful which directions we are going, but you can feel it. I think with the time you can really sense it, which colors and which tonality works, and then you can choose the backgrounds which really make the impact. Also with different professions, I know you can go specific direction with tonality and color and make those backgrounds look interesting and bring some specific color mood into the image. The next element what I look for is the lines and the patterns. With the AI digital backdrops, you can literally go in so many different directions and you can create these interesting lines, interesting patterns, things which really can put some interesting flow to the image. And I've been trying to see what works, what doesn't. Sometimes you have to work and try many different things and see what works and what patterns or what lines they don't work. But in general, lines and those patterns add something interesting to the image. As everyone photographer knows, the lines in the image directing towards the subject or creating this interesting flow is extremely important, and we can definitely utilize this in our headshot photography to create those artificial lines in our background to make those images look visually more interesting. The next thing I want to talk about it is symmetry. You can also prompt your AI generative fill and just literally say, please add symmetry to the background, and that also is going to create some interesting visual effects to make sure that those backgrounds they have some kind of symmetry. It took me many months to figure that out and see that it's extremely important element, because if there is no symmetry into those headshot images, especially when it comes to the background, the image feels off balance. And sometimes we look at it and we can definitely say there's something off. So I always want to make sure that I prompt properly to add symmetry to the image. Also, symmetry can add some interesting visual effect to the headshot backdrop, and that's something which again is interesting. You can play with it, you can try what the AI will come up with, but if you prompt this when you're creating those digital backdrops, it's definitely gonna add some interesting visual effect to keep that balance and keep that backdrop in this kind of form which looks visually interesting. And the last thing what I want to talk about it, which also is extremely fascinating, you can create digital backdrops based on some kind of theme. So I'm going to show you some examples. So I've created some interesting images for medical clinics, which we add some theme to it. We add some droplets, we add some specific elements which definitely add some interesting flavor to the image and just kind of enhance what the message we're trying to achieve with that specific image. And with the AI, you can go absolutely crazy. This is something which is so amazing for me, that we can really elevate those headshots to specific genres. We can start creating those environmental images where we can shoot our client in any location pretty much, and we can add this artificial backdrop with specific theme which is going to be related to their profession, or let's say you're creating specific campaign. You can definitely use theme digital backdrops which gonna create this specific message for this image. So this is something which is just the basic stuff. We're gonna explore those elements even deeper. I just want to create this quick video to basically share with you how I look at those backdrop nowadays. When I started, of course, I was all over the place. I was trying to do everything what it's out there, but now I've noticed that you can have some kind of structure to creating those images and following specific elements to get those images the way you want it. So let's kind of go through this again fairly briefly. So is brightness, is tonality, is patterns and lines in the backdrop, also symmetry, which is extremely important, and you can create team digital backdrops for specific backdrop for elevating the message you're trying to send through that picture. I hope that was interesting. It's a very short video, but I'm gonna do more. We're gonna dive deep in some of those elements, and we can discuss this even further. So if you have any questions and if you would like to add something to this, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to discuss this further. As you probably know, I'm extremely excited about it. It's been an amazing journey for me because I also learned lots about creating something which is different, which is unique. It's elevating the quality of our work. So this is the first video. We're gonna dive deep a little bit more in the next one. So I would like to say big thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll chat with you guys very soon. Bye bye.